Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this holy mess. All right, guys. TD Jakes. Let's just go ahead and get into the video. I'm going to share my screen. I'm sure you've already seen it, but I haven't talked about it yet. But I have some thoughts that I want to express. So I want to share the video first before I get into my commentary.
Now, Lord, let the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength, my redeemer. Let them go in peace.
All right, guys, listen. Whew, that's heavy, but here's the thing. When I do my commentary, my holy mess commentary, and a lot of commentary that I've done where I've discussed TD Jakes, and I have the little video because it's funny to me, because we all know that the swallowed up, have you ever been swallowed up clip has been viral ever since the Diddy discoveries, the accusations, the allegations, the truths, the arrest, all of those things have happened. A lot of people have been trying to connect TD Jakes to Diddy's dealings. Sean Combs, I'm tired of calling him Diddy. His government name is Sean Combs. And I have even said some things regarding it because he said that he was his mentor. So my main issue with it is the fact that it's just not a good look to say that you are this man's mentor, even if he didn't know about all of the things that he's been accused of. But if there has been no real fruits, because the Christian world and the Bible is all about, you'll know them by the fruits that they bear, shun the very appearance of evil, all of these different things. And Sean Combs was not living a life as one that was being mentored by somebody who's supposed to be so spiritual, so upright, so holy, right? So, so with those things being said, my issues with TD Jakes and Sean Combs was the fact that I just felt like this is a money thing, the connection that they have, and it really has nothing to do with him trying to have some sort of effect on Sean Combs's personal life so that he could be a better man. And when the things started coming out, and I don't know if it was his place to say anything, but to say nothing at all, I felt was a problem. But all of those things, and now you have these people like Larry Reid, yeah, I'm going to call his name, and even this chick who claims to be a prophet, she calls herself Celestial, which is ridiculous. I really want to know what her real name is. That chick ain't no more a prophet than the stars in the sky, okay? So people were saying she's a prophet because she was saying that TD Jakes was going to fall and because Judgment is coming and whatever else she was saying. I don't know. I don't follow her. I don't listen to a lot of things, but I've seen some clips around social media of some things that she said while she's wearing a doily or a napkin or whatever on her head. A broken clock can be right twice a day, but also we just have to be real. What we saw happen in that pulpit, TD Jakes is a man of a certain age. I would venture to say a man of a not very great health. When any person, I don't care how old they are, when they're carrying all of that cortisol in the belly area, that is a huge indicator of inflammation and stress. Inflammation and stress are killers, okay? And I don't care how strong he is in the word of God, how much he believes. We're all human beings, spirits living in human flesh until it's the end of our existence. And then the spirit lives forever. I believe that. And the body goes back to the dirt that it came from. It it dies, it dissolves, it disintegrates. So TD Jakes is not a 35-year-old man. And he has a mega ministry. It is a business. I don't believe that it is God ordained. That's my personal opinion. But it's a business. And because it's called TD Jakes Ministries, Potter's House Ministries, I don't care how much he's trying to raise, teach, train, or groom his daughter and her husband to step in and possibly take over at some point in time. What he is doing is trying to keep the business going because I believe he knows, just like a lot of businesses, when people, just to, use an example, like for myself, I have a beauty business. When I started my business, I was solo. And then over the years, I started hiring team members. Most of the people were coming to the business because they knew about me and the services that I provided. But as the years, went on and I started hiring other people, I had to train them and get the the new clients and even some of the current clients to feel comfortable going to the new people that were working there and not just being used to being seen by me because I can't see everybody. And yeah, there were some people who stayed and they trusted me, but there's some people who decided that they didn't want to stay because it's like, if I can't see her, then I'm not going to see anybody. And yeah, while that may suck, it's people's choices. They decide what they're going to do, where they're going to go, where they're going to stay, or if they're going to leave. So I believe he's hanging on because he's trying to keep that business going because it is a multi-million dollar business. It really has, in my personal opinion, nothing to do with God. It's what he wants to do to keep the business going. Okay. So all of the stress of all of the allegations, and I did a video, uh, maybe it was over a month ago. And if I remember, I'll put the link in the description box if you didn't see it. But I did a video where I was talking about the fact that there's so much AI generated content on social media or on YouTube linking TD Jakes and Diddy. And it's these AI generated thumbnails. They have TD Jakes in the bed with Sean Combs and all this other it's just ridiculous talking about he's on the run from the FBI. And I'm not laughing because it's funny, but I really, when I did the commentary at the time, the main reason why I did it was because the fact that this is even allowed, I feel like is ridiculous. And also the fact that no one in his ministry has caught wind of that stuff because a lot of those videos has so many views and a lot of people believe that stuff. So to have the stress of all of the accusations and the allegations about him that are either not true or maybe some of them may have some facts surrounding it, I don't know. But I do believe that a lot of the stuff that's being said about him is not true. I don't follow TD Jakes. I'm not somebody who's in his ministry online or in person. And there's some things about him that I don't personally care for, but I would never sit here and just lie on the man because I don't like him. And there are a lot of people that have been doing that stuff. So I would venture to say if you have thousands of people, even if there are millions that like him, but he has thousands of people that are out here speaking about these things that really are not true, it does wear on you. It does. So we have to be honest. This is something that happens naturally. I do believe in the power of the supernatural, but we just have to be honest. Inflammation, whatever else is going on in his body, as well as stress, can bring on disease. Dis-ease brings on disease. And God helped me because I've been going through it in my own personal life. And I just recently did a podcast where I talked about some things that I've been experiencing and going through, and I'm still going through it. And I really have to do my best to try to take care of me so that I don't wind up, being in a state where I can't even help myself. Stress is a major killer. So when you have the stress of all of these people like Larry Reid, he did that interview with that guy Dwayne Youngblood, and I talked about that too, where I felt like, why are people sitting here and listening to this? The mere fact that the man is a convicted offender of minors, the person that Larry Reid interviewed, as well as Larry Reid has his own allegations, these two people really were not the two to sit and talk about TD Jakes in any capacity. And Larry Reid had been already doing this before. I talked about how earlier this year, where it was like he was trying to put that prophet, so-called prophet Manasseh Jordan, saying that TD Jakes groomed him and was putting all this stuff out there, and Larry Reid saying people on TD Jakes' team was reaching out to him. I don't believe any of that stuff. I'm honestly surprised that they haven't struck his content, and maybe they have at this point. I don't know because I don't follow Larry Reid, so I don't know if the content is still up there. But the stress of all of that stuff, and again, like I said, there may be some facts in some of those things that were being said, but the people that were talking about it, to do it on a public platform, it was self-serving. It was to get the views, to get the money, to whatever else, put some sort of name and shame this man, because I do believe that Larry Reid is jealous of people like TD Jakes who really have a large, successful ministry, because I believe that's something that he has wanted and it never worked out for him. So he has become the professional hater of Christian ministries. I would never call Larry Reid a Christian, but I believe he's become the professional hater of Christian successful ministries. And so he'll try to act like he has integrity to say, well, I don't talk about anything that's not already out there. Yeah, whatever. You are a professional Christian hater, and he was out to get some money. But for anyone to say that TD Jakes having this health scare, this possible stroke or possible heart attack episode in the pulpit on a live stream while he was in church, to say that that was the judgment of God, it's ridiculous. It's like the people who say that a storm hit an area and they'll say, yeah, that's God's judgment. First and foremost, why in the world do people do stuff like that? A lot of people who claim they believe in God and they believe in the Bible and all this other stuff, they really do believe that God is just this God of judgment, and he's just out here destroying people and taking people's lives and destroying their property and taking their family and all of these other things. I don't believe any of those things are that way. I'm not saying that God is not capable of exerting judgment. But let's be honest, if he really was that way, just like that, I believe that he would be coming for a lot of those people who claim the name of God and are out here judging other people, versus the ones who really don't have a knowledge of God, who don't have a relationship with God, could really even care less about God. Because how is it that people believe that if God is love, and the Bible says, with love and kindness have I drawn thee, why in the world would people be drawn to a God that all he's doing is killing people and sending them to hell? Like, seriously, that is fear tactics. That is to scare people to so-called believing, and then you don't even really believe. You're just in bondage. You're just like, well, I'm just going to believe in God because I don't want to go to hell and I don't want him to kill me. So I'm just going to believe in God. Well, if that was the case, then I mean, God would just make people robots that just operated the way that he wanted them to operate. No, we all have free will. And I don't even want to go off on a tangent with regards to that, but the reason why I'm even saying all of that is because you do have these people who claim that they are prophets, who claim that they are God sent and God told them this and God said that and you saw what happened to TD Jakes and I told you it was going to happen and this is just the beginning and all this other stuff and it's like, girl or boy, you really believe that you have this close connection with God like that? Then we'll see what happens to you because I thought the Bible says that judgment begins in the house of God. And if you claim that TD Jakes's ministry is not a house of God and yours is, then maybe judgment should be starting with you. I don't know. I'm no scholar of God's word. I'm not trying to be a preacher or anything like that. I don't proclaim to be a prophet or a minister or a preacher or an evangelist or none of those things. I'm neither. I'm none of them. I'm just a person that believes in God, but I don't believe in God the way a lot of these people do and they really believe that what happened to TD Jakes is God's judgment. No, TD Jakes is a man that I believe has some health issues, and it happened in this public place. Yeah, it could have happened behind the scenes. It could have happened, at home where none of us would have known anything about it. So you believe that because it happened on a live stream, that that was God showing you that his judgment is real and this person who prophesied this, they were right and all this stuff. And then the so-called prophets, right? This is the thing that trips me out about these people. They'll claim that they had a prophecy about him, and then when this happens, then they'll come out on their high horse to pretty much say, "Yeah, see, I told you I was right. I told you God told me that." Like, what is that about? Is that like how God operates in pride? And I thought that God hated pride. So for anyone to come out and claim that this happened and they said that this was going to happen and then they'll turn around and come out to say, "Yep, see, I told you it's going to happen," instead of praying for this person, whether you like him or not, whether you agree with his subject matter that he teaches on, whether you agree with the fact that he was Sean Combs's so-called mentor, whether you agree with the fact that he may have been to Sean Combs's parties. I don't believe that that man was at the freak offs. I don't. I really don't. But that's my personal opinion. Is he a power bottom? Like, people were saying again, those things when people were saying those things like power bottom and swallowed up and have you ever been swallowed up? It's funny, but is it real? And there have been rumors about him in terms of his life and whether I'm not even gonna go into all that because really it's irrelevant. But what I meant to say and what I'm trying to get to is this. He is a man that has a family, he has a wife, he has adult children, he has grandchildren. They love him. If you have love in you, then you would just be praying for him and praying for them versus sitting in judgment to say, "See, I told you that that was going to happen." Because would you like anybody doing that to you or about you if something happened to you? Because any of us are capable of going through health struggles, no matter the age. Shoot, there are people out here having heart attacks in their 30s these days. You never heard about things like that many years ago. But you know why a lot of that stuff is happening now? Stress. Stress. Oh my God, it is stress. So no one can tell me, I don't care how many assistants he has, how much money he has, how many bank accounts he has, or all that stuff. It does not mean that he is not free from stress. Now, money does help and it makes things easier. It gives you more access and more resources, but it does not mean that it frees you from stress. And sometimes we try to do too much. He is a man of a certain age. He probably should have stepped down years ago. I talked about that several months ago where he's still doing this. Well, I guess this year was the first year he didn't do that Woman Thou Art Loosed conference, which is just a money grab. Yeah, I said it. But yet and still, he has a business. It's a business. It's not really a ministry. Now, it may have helped some women. Some women may feel like, oh, then it empowered them. It made them feel better. It helped them to get up and go and make some changes in their lives and do some different things. Cool. That's fine. But he did that conference for what, 20, 25 years or something like that, and I was like, "Dang, the women ain't loose yet?" Like, seriously, and so now his daughter is doing the conference, and I think it's called Women Evolve or Women Evolve, whatever, but it's supposed to be an extension of or a change over from Woman Thou Art Loose. So they're now, I guess they're loose and now they have evolved. So now it's Woman Evolve versus Woman Thou Art Loose. And this is all business. It's money. It's not really a God called thing. It may be a good thing for some people, but is it a God thing? So I'm going to end it with this. The fact that we saw him have that health episode in the pulpit and the fact that people didn't come to him sooner than what they did, because let's be clear, I don't follow TD Jakes, I don't watch him, but clearly something was already going on and somebody should have already been right there versus when the microphone was about to drop to the ground and he was about to keel over because his speech started slowing down and it was kind of slurred. But if they really knew him, they should have known that something isn't right here. So they should have been there already by his side versus rushing to catch the microphone and to catch him before he fell off of the stool that he was sitting on. So again, business. It's about money. If it was about ministry, if it was about caring, man, he wouldn't have even been able to get to the point where he was slurring like he was. But that's just my personal opinion. I wanted to talk about it real quick because, guys, when I heard that it happened, my first thought was, oh Lord, here we go. These so called prophets are going to come out here and say that, see, I told you God was judging TD Jakes. I don't believe that. I believe that the man is just having health issues. And it's easy for someone who has possibly tried to say that God told them some things are going to be happening to TD Jakes to connect what happened to what they said. But clearly, the man has health issues and a whole lot of stress. And stress and discomfort, dis-ease brings on disease. So inflammation, all the cortisol in his belly, you know TD Jakes has a big belly. All that cortisol, all that inflammation, a lot of that comes from stress as well as not taking care of your health, not eating right, all of those different things. Yeah, you may love fried chicken, but as you get older, you can't eat as much of it as you were doing when you were 20, 15, maybe even 30. I think what he's isn't he in his 70s? So like seriously, it's not God's judgment, okay? And it definitely is not some so-called prophet who said that God is judging him. Now, I'm not saying that God is 100% pleased with his actions, but let's be clear, God ain't 100% pleased with any of us because none of us are perfect. Now, yeah, there may be some people like Sean Combs who've just been out here living freaking reckless and crazy and doing some debauchery and lasciviousness and criminal things and all kinds of just distorted weird stuff, and we're not even thinking about doing things like that. So I'm not trying to say that we're all the same, but let's just not sit in judgment, and let's just hope that he will be better and his family will be better, and maybe this health scare will cause him to do some things differently, not just for his personal health but also how he has been moving professionally. We'll see, I don't know, but to end it with the people that are close to him, the people that are in the ministry and that, just caught him in the nick of time before he keeled over. They should have been there sooner than what they were. And to me, it just kind of shows how much they depend on him in this business that is called a ministry, that they will pretty much let him work himself into the grave. And that's sad. But I digress. I just wanted to talk about it for a few. I really want to know what you guys think. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.